We are going to be working on this problem. It says Sarai and Joseph are hiking on a trail at Umstead State Park. Raise your hand if you've ever been hiking before. Nope. How do you know if you're on a trail? For those of you who have been hiking, you might be hiking on a trail. How do you know if you're on a trail? Bryson?
It's like there's like trees and then there's like just dirt that like leaves around and stuff.
Okay, so usually there's a path of some kind, whether it's dirt or rocks or something. Zach, how do you know that you're on a trail?
Because there's like rocks around.
Sure. Sure. Jill, how do you know you're on a trail?
I know how I'm on a trail because like there's like an empty space in the middle of like a bunch of like grass and trees.
Okay. Heidi, how do you know you're on a trail?
Normally like every now and then I'll see like pavilions and stuff and
Sure.
benches and like mile markers.
Sure. So we might have other signs along the way, maybe a bench, maybe a mile marker that shows how far you have gone, maybe a pavilion. Evelyn?
Sometimes there are little marks on the trees like the spray paint.
Yeah, especially if you're going on a long trail, those are called trail markers. So if you have a long trail, there might be special marks, whatever you're messing with, stop, along the way, so that you know that, hey, you're still on the trail, you're not just wandering around lost. So they're hiking on a trail in this state park. The trail they want to hike is 3 miles long. There are signs to mark each 1/4 of a mile along the trail. Using a number line, show the length of the trail and the location of each mile marker. Go ahead and draw a number line, please. Yeah.
I'll have to draw first.
All right. What distance am I going to start at when I start my hike? Not a trick question. What distance am I going to start at when I start my hike? Not a trick question. Rylan?
0.
Starting at 0. So the start of my number line is going to be 0 miles. That's what I'm counting by, my unit. How long, sit up, is this trail? I should see everybody's hand because we read it. We're not making it up. It's in the problem. How long is this trail? It's in the problem. No. Kinsey?
3 miles.
3 miles long. If we know this trail is 3 miles long, can we expect to walk 1 mile?
Yes.
Can you expect to walk 2 miles?
Yes.
Can you put the 1 mile spot and the 2 mile spot on your number line?
Yes.
Do that, please. Put the 1 mile spot on your number line. Put the 2 mile spot on your number line. Where is 1 going to go on a number line between 0 through 3? Where did you put 1 mile? This is not a trick question. Where did you put 1 mile? Jalen, where did you put 1 mile? Yeah, 1 mile is not very far from 0. There's 1 mile. Where did you put 2 miles? It's not a trick question. Huxley? Yeah. Remember, your first mile, this distance right here, is just as long as this mile. It's just as long as this mile. You shouldn't have 1 mile being way longer than the other. So make sure your spaces are in between-ish. similar in size. So far, so good? Do you have this? Okay. We need to show the trail markers. How often do we see trail markers on this trail? It tells us in the problem. How often do I see trail markers? It tells me in the problem. Jill?
Every 1/4 of a mile.
Every 1/4 of a mile, we have a trail marker. Well, let's mark our first one. Where's our first one going to show up? Where's our first one going to show up? Ariana? Huh? Sure. Then where? Where's our trail marker going to show up? Kaden?
Like the fraction or like on the numbers?
Both. They're the same thing.
Every 1/4 mile, so you probably want to break your each mile into 4 sections.
Okay, so Kaden's saying, hey, every 1/4 of a mile, I have a trail marker. So I probably want to break apart each mile into 4 sections. Why? Why would I break apart each mile into 4 sections? Evelyn?
Because that's where each mile mark is.
Yeah, it's every 1/4 of a mile. So let's look at between 0 and 1. Am I going to draw 4 lines?
No.
No. Remember, I'm counting in 4, so I'm counting spaces. So let's chunk it. So I have 4 spaces. What do I call that first jump? Mackenzie? 1/4. What do I call the next jump? Sit up. Zach?
2/4.
2/4. What do I call the next jump? Macklin? 3/4. What do I call the next jump? Heidi?
4/4 or 1/4.
4/4, aka 1 whole. What am I counting there? 1 whole mile. Does the trail end there? Oh. So now what? Sit up. What do? My trail's not over at 1 mile, but I just got to 1 hole. What do I do now? What do I do now? Sit up. If I tell you again, you're standing. Colby, what do I do now?
Put 4 spaces between 2 miles.
Yeah, I'm still going to be counting by 4ths. It's every 4th mile. So Colby said, well, let's chunk this next one into 4 more spaces. Now, Mackenzie, do I start back over at 1/4? No. What's my next jump called? 5/4. I keep going. I've done 5/4. What's my next jump called, Evelyn? 6/4. Zach, what's next? No. 7/4. Bryson, what's next? AKA how far? No. 2 whole what? Cupcakes? Miles. 2 whole miles. Does my trail end at 2 whole miles?
No.
Label the rest of them. Give me a secret then when you're done. Just to double check that I'm right. Remember when I told you that slash is also a division symbol? 12 things put into 4 groups is not 4. 3. Hey, 12/4 is equal to 3. Wow, how that happened. On the trail, there are water stops. That means there's water stations, places where you can get some water. Every 1/2 mile. Oh, did I count by halves though?
No. Oh, yes.
I counted by fourths. I need to label all my water stops. Yikes. But I don't have halves, so how am I going to figure out where my water stops are?
I can't read that.
How am I going to figure that out?
I can't read that.
I don't have halves. It's the same number line that you have in your notebook. I counted by fourths. Where's my water going to go? Zach, what you think?
Or you could use the number line and you could put it right above the 3/4 line and do it.
Say it one more time, I'm sorry.
You could do another line above the 2/4 and you can
Oh, so Zach's saying, hey, even though I didn't count by halves, could I find something that's equal to 1/2?
have. Yeah. Yes.
How many fourths are equal to 1/2? I want to see everybody's hands. How many fourths are equal to 1/2? Sitting there doing nothing doesn't help you figure it out. Kaden? 2/4. I want you to put a dot where you wrote 2/4. And I want you to put a W. W is going to stand for what? Water. That means every 2/4, I'm going to jump 2/4, I get water. So where's my next water station? You don't know because you're not doing it. Where's my next water station? Yeah?
It's at 4/4.
It's at 4/4 because I'm going to jump what's equal to 1/2, which gets me to 4/4. Put another W there. Where's my next water station at? Bryson?
6/4.
6/4. There's my jump of 2/4. Put another W. Where's my next water station at? Lindsay? 8/4, because there's my half jump. Huxley, where's my next one at? 10/4. Evelyn? Say it again. Yeah, there's my last half jump. Alright, there are benches every 3/4 of a mile. Alright, well, where's our first bench? That one's pretty easy. I'm going to change my color, make it a little easier to see. Sure, it'll be green. Where's my first bench? Not a trick question. Tells us in the problem. Mackenzie? 3/4. Put a little dot there. And I'm going to put a B for bench. Now, how do I find out where my next bench is? How am I going to figure out where my next bench is? I got my first one, 3/4. That was pretty easy. But it's every 3/4. So how do I figure out where my next one is? Macklin? Beautiful. Macklin says, hey, you're going to jump 3/4. So 1, 2, 3. Hey, that one has a bench and water. Nice. That's a nice spot. John, do you know where we go next? It is 9/4. Yep. Hang on, John. Let me get there. Because we're going forward 3 spaces. That's worth 3/4. Any other benches? Zach, where is it? 12/4. Ooh, there's water at that one too. That's a nice spot. Sarai stops for water, her own water, like her own water bottle, at the 7/4 mark. Mark where Sarai stopped and put an S. She stopped at the 7/4 spot. Mark where Sarai stopped and put an S. Sarai. That's her name. Joseph stops for a break at the 11/4 stop. So mark where Joseph stopped and put a J for Joseph. Yes, that's their name. We got Sarai here. And then we got Joseph here.
I can see the number. How small it is.
So who walked farther before they took a break? Who walked farther before they took a break? Kinsey? Joseph. Joseph walked almost how many miles before he took a break? Joseph walked almost how many miles before he took a break? Bryson?
He almost walked 3.
He almost walked 3 whole miles before his first break. Sarai almost walked how many miles before her first break? Sarai almost walked how many miles before her first break? Mackenzie?
2.
Yeah, she almost got to 2 whole miles before her first break. If you had to plan a spot to take a break, where would you take a break at? There's no real right or wrong answer to that question, but look at what's happening on this trail. Where might you take a break if you were going to hike this trail? If you were going to hike this trail, where would you plan to take a break? Put a dot there and put the letter of your first name. So if I'm Zach, I'm going to put a Z. If I'm Carl, I'm going to put a K. It's okay if that letter is already on there in a Jalen. We got J for Joseph, J for Jalen. All right, where are you taking a break? Tell me. And be prepared to tell me why you chose that spot to take a break. Ariana? Love it. I love that. I think that's where I might plan Ariana said, I'm taking a break at 6 Fourths because I see 6 Fourths has a water break and a bench. That seems like a really good spot. Where else might you take a break? Ariana picked 6 Fourths. That's a great spot. It's not the only spot. Where else could you take a break? It's up to you. Eddie?
I would take a break at 3/4.
3/4.
There's a bench there, and I would probably have my own water bottle.
Okay, Heidi's taking a break at 3/4. She would already have her water bottle, so she just needs to get to that first bench. Nice. Kaden, where are you breaking?
About maybe 10/4, because when you're hiking, you don't really have to run that much. You just have to hike up hills and stuff.
Sure.
So I don't think, and there's water there, and I don't need a bench to sit on. I can just sit on the ground.
Okay, so Kaden said, I'm going to stop at 10/4 because that's pretty far. He's not thinking he's going to need a break. And they have water, so he can refill his water or get new water. And he doesn't need a bench. Sure. John, where are you stopping?
I'm at 6/4.
Why?
Because normally I stop and take like a break at like the middle.
Yeah, is 6/4 about the middle?
Yeah.
Yeah, that might be a good halfway spot. Gio, where are you stopping?
I'll stop at the end. Because there's water and a bench, and I don't have to do any more.
Okay, fair enough. Evelyn, where are you stopping?
6/4. It's kind of like John's, but when I go to halfway, when I get mostly tired, so and there's a bench and water, I'd be able to refill my energy and go all the way and finish the hike.
Nice.
I've got a question.
Go for it.
Are we walking to the place and back, or are we just walking?
So usually if it says a trail is 3 miles long, that means it takes 3 miles to get back to the start. So it could be an out and back, which means you go out and then you literally go back the same way, or it could be a loop. But typically if a trail says it's this many miles, that's how many miles it takes to get you back to where you started. Does that make sense? This is a real place. You can go to Umstead. It's in Raleigh.
Like, this is
You
a real
feel
place.
so inclined. Yep.
Raleigh country, and then we're staying West Greenfield.
It's in Raleigh.
Where
It's
is
2
Raleigh?
hours drive from here.
Raleigh.